Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanim. Okay, we're going to jump right into some explosive XRP news. Also, if you haven't had a chance already, make sure you check out the last video I put in the members only section. If you're an XRP holder, you definitely want to know about that particular aspect we're touching on in that video. Because if XRP can do that, it would be huge. Now, let's get to this article here. This is on cryptoglobe.com. I'm just going to read the headline for you, okay? Because there's a lot of people that doubt XRP and the money that it can tap into. Here's the headline. Former developer advocate at Ripple. It is possible for XRP to one day hit $100. This is what he's saying. Keep in mind, it is significant that they said this individual is former, which means theoretically speaking, if you're former, you sever ties with them. You don't have a vested interest to say anything positive about them. I mean, you also shouldn't have a vested interest to say something bad as well. But he could have just remained quiet, could have just remained at a neutrality. But this individual didn't, because he understands the technology and the money that is going to be tapped into. We're talking about interbank payments. Most people don't even know XRP can do that. They don't even know that that's what Ripple is going after. All they know is that XRP has an army and the price hasn't gone up. I never see most people saying anything significant about the partnerships XRP actually has. Hundreds of financial institutions. You can't just say that. You'd be looking at a lawsuit of massive proportions. You can't just say that. You have to have something backing that up. Then on top of that, we've seen all of these institutions testing XRP. They've worked with Santander. Does anybody believe that Santander would work with an institution that is all hype? It's not what it says it is. Santander, Bank of America has both used XRP, tested XRP, and has rained praise down upon Ripple and XRP. And also, Bank of America has tested XLM. They won that contest. Remember that blockchain contest, building a particular system on XLM. So they've used both. Do you really believe that Bank of America would get involved with something that's not going to be big time? Of course not. This is your proof here. Look at the corridors they've been setting up. All over the world, Ripple has been setting up corridors. Absolutely amazing, working at a breakneck pace. And I'll say this, keeping their eye on the goal, which a lot of blockchains, they take their eye off the goal. They do. But this is why I rain praise upon, and I'm very happy to be a holder of, let's say, XRP, Algorand, Hedera, Cello. I'm very happy about that because they're working hard. And that does what for you and I? That ensures that we're going to be able to, theoretically speaking, no guarantees. I'm not a financial advisor, but that would ensure that we can get to the money in the future. These are long holes, not quick money plays. We have plenty of quick money plays, but we understand that infrastructures take time to be built. If you're going to be working with banks, commercial, central, otherwise, large financial institutions, everything has to be meticulously put together. And it all has to be a network, interweb, so that one can flow to this bank, to that bank, to this bank, to that bank. You have to build those relationships and partnerships. That doesn't happen all at once. That takes time. And actually, even though I know and I understand a lot of people have been impatient, there's some impatient people, and then there's also some people that have been going through harsh economic times. I understand all of that, and I completely understand. I'll just say that. It doesn't negate that type of system, a new financial system, takes time to put together. It's not something that's going to be quick. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I expect it to happen in degrees, everything in degrees, everything in levels, depending on when certain institutions begin to utilize those particular systems. $100, he says, right? And, I'm going to send you over to cryptoglobe.com. It is the top article on that website. Go over there, check them out, read this article. It's a very good read. He explains why. And I'll just say this on this without having to actually read the article, because this is a good one here. You guys should definitely give it a read. With the amount of money that he explains in the article, that they would need to tap into or can tap into for it to reach $100. Listen, I believe, and I don't really do price predictions on this channel. That's not what I'm here for. And I don't care whether you buy XRP or not. I'm waiting on those banks. A lot of us are waiting on those banks. That's what's going to move that price, all right, to where we want it to be. But the amount of money it can actually tap into, it can move around, is much greater than the amount of money they're talking about right here. It is. The amount of money that will flow through XRP. Now, I don't know how much XRP Ripple will have an escrow at that time. It really doesn't make a difference. They're going to see a pretty penny. We're talking interbank payments. I posted the the Boston Fed. Maybe it was in the members only section. So like I said, go over that members only section. It's only a few dollars. That's all it is. And even if you didn't want to, you could always just let it just cancel at the end of the month. But I posted so many documents. But one of them was the federal financials. Look at the money that they move every day. Every year, quadrillions per year, trillions a day, something like that, even Swift. Look at the systems that XRP is trying to ingrain itself in or usurp, like take over the throne, usurp the throne. So for him to say that, it actually could be much more money than the amount that he's discussing in this particular article, okay? And I'm not talking about the $100 price that he claims that it can hit. I'm talking about what it can move in value. And if you do your calculations correctly and you look at what XRP can move in the future, of course, in the future, but how much it can move per day, possibly, how much it can move per week, possibly, if you just take a modicum of what other institutions are moving, Swift, the Fed, central banks, certain large commercial banks. Just look at we've gone over all of these financials on the channel. You've downloaded the documents. Just do the mathematics. And then you'll be able to come up with you can do certain calculations and come up with your price. I guarantee if you do the mathematics, it's going to be real nice. Real nice. I'm telling you. So, but there you have it, man. Former developer advocate at Ripple has no reason to say a good thing about Ripple at all or a bad thing. Could have just stayed neutral, stay quiet. Had to speak up because he understands the technology. Says that it is possible for XRP to hit $100. What's that special number that the people throw out there? This is a special number. I don't know where they got it from, but I see this everywhere. Somebody out there is like, no, $589. There's like a number. Did they get that from like The Simpsons or something? I don't know. There's so many interesting things in the XRP army. Okay, let's move on here. We're going to cover just a little bit of Quant news, okay? I like to cover Quant because that is one of the distinct connections, Overledger. And they have, with XRP, they have Overledger for Ripple. So when it comes to connecting both the legacy system with distributed ledger technologies, Quant is one of the clear winners. And they've been working with so many different banks. They've been tested, I believe, by by the Bank of International Settlements? They tested out Quant. They're on the Digital Pound Foundation with Ripple. So I try to keep an eye on what they're doing. Because they could be a key piece. It says, U.S. Federal Reserve certainly agrees this is about CBDCs. And the article is titled, How the Bank of England Can Reap the Benefits of a Digital Currency. Okay, so this is why I wanted to cover this. If Quant, into any capacity, for any CBDC, acts as a gateway for those CBDCs, moving that money back and forth, look at the circulating supply of Quant. It doesn't take a lot for that price to explode. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. What are there, like 13 or 14 million Quant coins? That's it? Forever. It doesn't take a lot for Quant to explode. It really doesn't. Just doing the math. That's just logic. So there's no guarantees, of course. I'm just saying, if they land anything to any capacity that they're working with, a central bank, commercial bank, a large financial institution, keep in mind that Quant is working with Chain, who has connection with over 500 banks. So I just wanted to touch on this little article here. Let's go into it. Let's finish reading this. It says on January the 20th, it issued its paper CBDC, Money and Payments in the Age of Digital Transformation, with a well-balanced, considered view on potential adaptation. It left room for different possibilities. Perhaps a US CBDC will not emerge as an all-encompassing solution. It doesn't need to be all-encompassing. So that's one of the key things. It just needs to solve the problems that are causing the system to bleed out. That's it. That's all it needs to do. It's not about, it's sort of like life. It's not about having all the answers. It's just about having the right answers, right? Just about having the right answers. It says, it left room for different possibilities. Okay, well, hold on. Let's skim through here. Okay, it says, like the one currently being trialed in China that displaces retail banks and cash. That's not what we're going for with a CBDC, whether it's in the USA, the UK, Europe, Africa, Latin America. That's not what we're trying to do. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to access money that could not be accessed. That's number one. Of course, they also state that they want to bank the unbanked. So that's more money. There's more money coming in. So they want to serve that purpose. Also to sort of layer on top of the legacy system and absorb all that money that they are bringing in currently. Also, you don't want to step on their toes, but as the DLT CBDCs continue to grow and expand, of course, they're going to take over more and more of that market. That's just logical. Look, if you have, I don't want to use the tortoise in the hare. That doesn't work, right? But if the legacy system is back here and they're not innovating, right? They're not innovating, and you have blockchain, or let's just say distributed ledger technology, because Hashgraph is in there too, right? And it's out ahead of them by this much right now. We can deduce that even if the legacy system moved a little bit forward, which it probably won't because they're comfortable with the systems that they have, they're going to let the blockchain companies do everything. Hashgraph do everything. That's how lazy they are. So if we're this far ahead of them now, imagine how far ahead we're going to be in the future. That means the more advanced we become, the more efficient, cheaper we become, faster we become, the more money we'll be able to bring in and take from them. We will literally dominate their systems and take over their systems. So it's not necessarily about replacing banks. I see a lot of people say that. It was like, well, blockchain can't replace banks. Actually, the Fed started out as the first decentralized system. That's how the Fed began. I told you that in the last video. I read the actual documents to you of how the Fed began. It's just a lot of people don't watch the entirety of the videos. There's a lot of great information in here that I'm trying to give to people so that they know for themselves, and they can use cause and effect to see the causes that have come up and the effects that might be rendered later. It's simple application of cause and effect. So the Fed began. There was a system before the Fed that was the Fed before the Fed. I can't remember their name. But then the Fed came around, and it was like what it was doing, what Ripple is doing now. Literally. It was the Fed was banking the unbanked back then. That's how it started. That's how they all say. They all come in with this smile. We want to help you, but really they want to make a lot of money. But that's their way to get in the door, by playing innocent. But hey, that's business. Business is cold-hearted and cutthroat. So it's not about taking over, taking over, replacing the banking system, but by ingraining ourselves within that banking system, we will absolutely dominate the infrastructures they already have. With the infrastructures, we're going to layer on top of them. We will dominate them. They will need us. Some blockchain companies, the fintechs, the NBFIs, non-banking financial institutions, will become like supervisory entities because the banks will stay alive based on the systems that are inputted, that are set up for them to make so much capital, to save so much capital, to do cross-border remittances, to provide liquidity. They're going to need them. So it's not, we can just dominate them from the inside. It's not necessarily about outright replacing the banks, but is replacing the banks a possibility on the table? Definitely is. All systems fall and new systems arise out of them. And the world is always ready for something new. Never think that it's not. The Roman Empire was a great empire. It rose and it fell. Correct? Many empires rose and fell. And their systems with them. All right. So, I'm looking at history. I'm considering cause and effect, the law of compensation, all of these different things. I'm trying to apply all at the same time. I just don't have enough time to explain that to everybody. But I use deductive reasoning and just infer that people would already be applying those same laws and principles and things like that when it comes to trading. So it says, like the one currently being trialed in China that displaces retail banks and cash, but as a hybrid solution that dovetails with our expectations of privacy, security, financial inclusion, and regulation. Okay, let's go to this. That was on quant.network, so you can go over there and check that article out. This is another one here on quant.network. Cybersecurity and risk considerations for CBDCs. This is by Gilbert Verdian. All right, so let's just scroll down here a little bit. So it says, an appropriately designed CBDC should leverage a two-tier model using both a central bank and retail commercial banks. We've heard the Bank of International Settlements say this. We've read them speak about this in their PDFs. As with cash, central banks should manage wholesale interbank payments. Interbank payments, there it goes again. Imagine that money moving over the XRPL via Overledger, because they have Overledger for the XRPL via Quant. Just think about that for a minute. What would it do to XRP's price? What would interbank payments do for Algorand's price? XLM's price. Think about that for a moment. And banking intermediaries can manage payments between consumers and businesses. This structure can mitigate risks from the structural disintermediation of banks and the centralization of the credit allocation process to help prevent systemic runs on banks in crisis. I told you. Listen, I have been saying this for so long. Bank runs are a huge threat. Two things are a threat to this banking system, and they have been suffering badly. One, they're getting hacked too much. There's too many data leaks. Their customers are getting their information stolen, their identity stolen from the banks. That's a problem. We can solve that problem easily, I might add. Then on top of that, bank runs. There's continuous bank runs. There's runs on everything right now. They run on the stock market, run on the stable coins, runs. They've had runs on crypto, but the banks, who everyone believes in, right? Not everyone, I don't, but you know what I mean. Many people believe in, swear that they can never go down, even though they were bailed out so many times because they've been doing terrible. They've been experiencing runs that are the most devastating to people. We can help them solve the problem of having bank runs. And no, I don't associate the bank coins with algorithmic stable coins, because I know that's what people are going to do. How can you stop bank runs when there was a run on stable coins? Wait, be specific. Was it a run on one-to-one held and one-to-one backed stable coins like USDC? No, it was not. Not all stable coins are the same. There was a run on an algorithmic stable coin who I have absolutely nothing to do with. I don't have anything to do with any algorithmic stable coin, and I could care less. I'm into the bank coins. So that's what we're talking about here. And that's what I talk about. The bank coins. We're safe. We're good. We're okay. We're going to do well. And we have the solution to help them with those bank runs. One solution I always put out there is liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. This is why I don't understand why certain bank coins are not pushing that liquidity aspect, right? But XRP is, Algorand is, because you can use liquidity as a balancing mechanism. If there's a run, you can, there's a lot of different ways you could actually combat a bank run. But one of the ways is when people are withdrawing that money as your liquidity goes down in the bank and you're beginning to think about closing your doors and shutting down your ATMs. In comes on-demand liquidity to fill in the gaps there with liquidity. So now you don't have problems. You don't have to shut down your ATMs. You don't have to shut down your physical bank location because you don't have the money. Now you'll have liquidity. And so once the people see that, they'll be, once economics, the economy stabilize, whatever the situation might be, whatever the crisis is, the people can feel comfortable putting their money back in. They'll trust you more because you didn't lock them out of their accounts, which usually happens when there's a massive bank run. Look how much that helps. That's just one possible solution. So I just wanted to cover that here. Let's go into a little bit of Vechain news, and we're going to close out with that. I thought this was Vechain and maybe a little bit of Hbar. I thought this was very interesting here. This shows you why the utility of Vechain is so impactful. They made a tweet about DigiCard. You can literally download DigiCard. This is not, I have nothing to do with DigiCard or anything. I'm just telling you this is interesting. It shows you utility of Vechain and why many people believe that Vechain is going to explode in the future. It has one of the best use cases, traceability. Anybody can use it right now. So they have this DigiCard thing here where it's an app right now, and you can go on there and you can, like, I guess you take a picture of whatever item you want to NFT, a physical item, and it scans it into the system. Then people are able to scan this QR code and get all the information on that system. Of course, it's on the blockchain. It's immutable, so it's always there. It proves that you actually have it. You actually have that particular item, and it's all done via Vechain. That's why I wanted to bring this up. It says here, DigiCard key mobile application is available for public use and enables users to write to and read data from the Vechain Thor blockchain via a mobile device. The mobile application records data to the network, allowing users to claim ownership of items by proving the items are in their possession. Which solves a big problem with a lot of NFTs now, doesn't it, right? NFTs that are attached to physical items. This recorded data is saved securely to blockchain and may be reviewed using the item's digital landing page. Though its series of processes and sequence scans, through its series of processes and sequence scans, tagged items cannot be replicated, adding a highly secure layer of anti-counterfeiting measures. This is one of the reasons Vechain is going to be explosive, in my humble opinion, and also why they're so far out ahead of everybody else when it comes to traceability. They already have their apps running. You saw the tweet they made the other day where they actually showed you somebody with a jar with a Vechain QR code on the back. You could scan it and actually find information out about that product. They're really being used right now. Now, not to a massive scale, but look at all the partnerships they have. Once everything is up and running, they have everything set up. My goodness, look out. So now let's move on right here. We're going to close out with this. The Hbar Foundation. Hbar is going to go far. Not just because of their governing council, but because of things like this. In my humble opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you to buy or sell or any of that stuff. I'm just sharing my enthusiasm and a little bit of things that I find during my research, okay? It says, this is a tweet from the Hbar Foundation. Grantee at Sale Finance is pioneering the hashtag Web3 CRM economy with the world's first owner relationship management system. The world's first on Hedera Hbar. Get this. This is one of the reasons. See, Hedera is very wise in the partnerships that they strike. Sale has 300 plus partners. 300 plus. This is how they're starting. Partners include Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal Group, and most recently, Hendrix Gin. I don't need to go further than that. I'm very excited about Hbar's future and that price exploding. We see that when there's a bull run, Hbar's price has pretty good volatility. Up and down, up and down, up and down. It can go up pretty fast. That's what it indicates to me. Just like cello can go off very fast, but that's mostly because of circulating supply. Just like Quant can go off very fast, but that's also mainly because of circulating supply. But when those utilities kick off, how much more will they go up? How much more? When the utilities are actually being used. Something to think about. So, now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.